Up next is newspaper review.
Right, and Chukwudi Ubaja, our newspaper reviewer, is already seated.
Yes, I am, Victor.
Fired up for action, I guess.
I want to think so. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning, welcome.
How are you today?
I'm all right.
I always like your colors. Yeah, it's actively pensive. Imagine the combination. Actively pensive. How are you? Good morning.
Very well, Chikudi. Good morning to you. Good to see you again today.
Yeah.
All right, shall we get to it?
Yes, let's get on with the Nigerian pilot this morning. The lead story, of course, is protest, and this one is screaming. It says Tinubu appeals for calm. Riders says he's working diligently to address all concerns of Nigerians, having listened to their demands. Information Minister says President urges them to exercise patience. That federal government is working assiduously to ensure Nigeria is good, not just for today, but for future. It shows that interventions put in place by government must go to those that should benefit. All of that on page 4 of the pilot. Above that, Akpabio apologizes to Senator Natasha over comment. Interesting. Page has that. And just still on that same page, we have Peter Obi's lawyers write Bayo Onanuga, demand 5 billion naira apology. Also on page 9. Let's look away from that now. Below the lead story, we have National Assembly passes new minimum wage bill. And Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala's 6th second term as Director General of WTO. That's a good one. And of course, the women are pushing for that. Central Bank of Nigeria increases lending rate to 26.75%. So that's the much I can take from the Nigerian pilots this morning. Other headlines are on the front page. Of course, you can pick up that to see that. Let's see the Daily Sun now. The Daily Sun leads with Tinubu moves to avert protest, begs youths. Riders appeals for more time to address concerns. It's ill-advised, should be discarded, according to the IGP. Those who led protests in 2012 trying now to abort it. That's credited to Atiku. All of that on page 6. Interesting times ahead. Of course, the papers are letting us in on what to expect. Looking below the picture story, we have Cardoso lists causes of economic woes. The Riders says CBN will return money in dormant accounts to rightful owners. The question is how? Page 25 has that. We have allegation over protest. Obi angry, demands retraction, apology from Onanuga. And of course, we have Kyari dares Dangote to name NNPCL officials who own petroleum blending plant in Malta. Page 21 carries that interesting story. And we have, of course, right here, Senate raises 2024 budget to 35.055 trillion naira, amends finance bill. All right, that's much I can take. Victor.
All right, and quickly on the front page of the leadership papers, the protest is the lead story here, but we have dealt with it on other papers. And so above the nameplate, Trump shooting, U.S. Secret Agency boss resigns. That's on page 7. Tinubu okays Northwest Southeast Development Commissions. That's also on page 7, both above the masthead. And then below it, Dangote NNPC's part creating wrong signal for Nigeria. That's according to Adesina and Otedola. And on the right side of the front page, fresh rise in local airfare imminent. That's according to operators. And details, you get them on page 19. Experts applaud as CBN raises interest rate to 26.75%. For details of those experts, page 19. Arab doctors collected 5 million naira food items, Ondo core members. You get details of that on page 7. FG injects 1 trillion naira into manufacturing sector. That's according to Wale Edun, and that's about it on the front page of the leadership, page 21, that
There's
is.
one quick interesting story here. I'm sure Chikudi will be interested. It says 180 House of Reps lawmakers seek release of Nnamdi Kanu. That's on page 5 of the pilot. Chikudi.
And then NAS passes 70,000 naira new minimum wage bill. I almost missed that.
That's not news.
Yes, since I am involved, what did Ojukwu call his
because I am involved.
Because I am involved. Because he called me in. We have made a case here for good dialogue to come into place so that Nnamdi Kanu can be released to be productive to himself and to be productive to his country. Are the people who are rallying for this to happen, putting on their thinking cap so that it can happen in the shortest possible time? That's the question. We wish them luck. Well, you can see that the planned protest is actually gaining traction in terms of reaction to it, and expectedly too. The president is saying, please don't do it. Rather, let's dialogue. And some people who are in support of the federal government would want to list a few things that have been done really by the government. Maybe few is not, proper to be pre-posed to the phrase there or the sentence. Things that have actually been done by this government. The latest being the student loan scheme that has now got off the ground and all that. There are other things that have happened. The 150 no customs due window on imported food and all that is another case in point. There are other ones. I'm not here to act like I am a government aide. So let's not go into that. And let's talk about what government is not doing is intimidate those who are planning, to put on their marching boots. And that is good, because government recognizes that these people have a right to assembly that says, no, we don't agree with this, as long as it is a very peaceful one. What government is not sure of is whether this planned protest is not going to go the way of NSAS, which, though seemingly noble in its intentions, got hijacked way into it. And we now started hearing of looting and even arson here and there. That is what government is not sure of. And that is what the security agencies must try to make sure it doesn't happen this time around without hitting the protesters with jackboots or with the butts of their rifle or whatever. We are now in modern times where people should be allowed to engage in those things that are actually endorsed internationally. So our hope is that the president's plea will be listened to, because Victor, don't be jealous, you too, would agree with me that the economy should not be allowed to suffer further harm. It's already in a harmed way. It's not just in the way of harm, it's been harmed already. Think what the protest would do to even get things worse for us. So everyone needs to really be cautious about this. It's very, very important that we are, that we do all we can to avert it if we can. But if it must go on, for civility to accompany this protest. The Kenyan case should not happen here. We know the number of deaths that happened.
Well, Kenya, I think, happened the way it happened because of suppression.
Suppression could really backfire. When young people, get on the streets, you need to be extra careful the way you restrain them. Because that's the nature of young people. Bangladesh just, happened again the other time. I saw a man being dropped from a truck. They reported he was not dead at that point, but later he died, We have to be careful how we handle this situation. It's a very sensitive one. Very, very. Yes. The ding-dong affair between Dangote Refinery and NNPCL would seem to be continuing. Let's pray that at the end of the day, we would protect our own. I am not criticizing NNPCL officials for whatever they have said, but the wrong signals being sent to the international community, whom we are wooing practically for FDI, foreign direct investment, is those signals are not good for us, for people who actually want others to come and try out their hands in getting the Nigerian economic situation on better seas.
When I mentioned the National Assembly passes 70,000 naira new minimum wage, Yen Ray felt it wasn't news. But I think the news, of course, we had known this for some time now. The news is that the National Assembly gave it expedited, attention, and all three, first, second, three,
I said,
asked in one day.
I said I'm not government spokesman. Actually, it was one of the things that occurred to me to mention concerning what government has done. If Yen Ray does not, does not laugh about 70,000, it's probably because she's definitely not on minimum wage.
Who said so?
Minimum wage.
I'm not laughing either.
No,
I'm not laughing.
no. Listen.
Excuse me?
You've not let me finish. Definitely your salary is well above the minimum wage. That's what I'm saying. What you want
But I'm being paid according to the minimum wage.
Fine. Don't be too fast about it. Definitely when the minimum wage is doubled, I don't know whether your salary would eventually be doubled, because my experience when I was actively, out there was that anytime people were given some, succor in terms of what they take home at the end of the day, it did not quite percolate that way up to the last grade level.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly. That's why
So
it's not news for me. It would have been news if the House of Reps members were pushing for an increase. And maybe they said maybe 75,000 or 80.
Maybe they did the proverbial pardon.
We're talking about party. There's this news.
I didn't hear that.
Please, there's this news that gives me so much joy this morning, and it is about the Senate President apologizing to Senator Natasha Akpoti publicly yesterday.
Yes.
It gives me so much joy because, to see someone in that position apologize to a woman. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to offend a man or a woman,
Yes.
but to have to come out to apologize, I think it's one message, that is loud and clear to Nigerian men on how they should treat women. You understand? And of course, show respect to them. Okay, and if you breach or if you err in any way, it's important that you apologize. I think it would go a long way. Because even in families, in homes, sometimes men don't even want to apologize. So for the Senate President to apologize to a member of the Senate, I'm so happy about it.
We don't have a lot of time, but quickly, when I played back that tape, to be honest, it may not have come well or right. But if you see the flow, if you read the flow of that conversation, I don't think he meant anyhow.
What he meant or what he didn't mean, the apology is the news now.
He has
the
apologized.
apology is the news.
Why are you trying to be more pious than the Pope?
Exactly.
The point is
I'm
this.
just echoing what he said.
Quickly, please, I'm not going to make things too personal, but I think this is relevant. I had the opportunity to teach, hold a training for an NNPCL subsidiary. One of the ladies, after the emotional intelligence aspect of it, thanked us profusely and said, now I am going back to work with one elderly man that is my subordinate who reminds me every day that he has somebody like me at home. And that his daughter is more brilliant than those things are absolutely unnecessary.
Exactly.
So that is the point she is making. social etiquette needs to be taught in this country.
All right.
And
My
actually,
producer wants us to go, but
let's
let's quickly celebrate another woman, Toby Amusan. She's been named Nigeria's flag bearer for the Olympics, which begins in 2 days' time. And of course, we wish them all the
that's
best.
not news.
That's news, please.
That's not news.
Because Toby is the one leading the team. That's why it's not news.
Did it.
Oh,
Victor,
no. By the way,
we wish them all the
All
best.
the
By the
best.
way, I hope you know Konje Owela will get a
Thank
second
you.
term. We're rooting for
We
her.
are
58
rooting for her.
countries have supported her already.
It's Women's Day on the show. I conquered the two men. Stay with us. Good Morning Nigeria continues.